Hi, welcome to this episode of Made in Miami, where we interview local business owners to learn more about what they love about doing business in Miami and about their businesses. This is Jody and Johnson, and today we're interviewing Stephen Silverberg and Gisel Brito of Silverberg Brito Law Firm. Hi, Stephen and Gisel. So welcome to this episode. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Jody. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're excited about having you here.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about why and how you started your firm and the kinds of services that you provide for your clients.
Yeah, so really, Giselle and I started our firm together in February of 2015, and we started because we were both working in separate law firms and finding that we were really struggling having our values meet our firm's culture, and we were not having a culture fit within our respective firms.
Do you want to add something to that?
Yes, it was right what Stephen said. We are married, so that brings we're partners both in business and in life. And so it really, at the time in our life, we were new parents, and we both were in firms where we faced different struggles, new struggles now because of being new parents and still being professionals. Mm-hmm. And so we found that the best way of having a firm that had the culture that we wanted, the values that we wanted, was to make it ourselves.
Great. Stephen, would you like to build on what Giselle was just sharing?
So, yes, thank you, I would. When Giselle and I were with our son and we saw the opportunity that we had, we really felt like we needed to be better for the community and really help everyone else out there, because we didn't feel at the time that any of the law firms in the area were providing the sort of service that we would want as a consumer of the service from the lawyers. So we felt that we needed to do something to make it better in the community.
Almost pioneering.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what kind of services do you provide?
So we are a law firm that has 7 attorneys currently. We do insurance claims, so when it comes to a hurricane or water damage, mold damage, fire damage, we help people on all facets of navigating the insurance claim process, as well as into litigation and any post-litigation and appeal work. And we also do real estate. We do, whether it be litigation regarding real estate, closings, seller or buyer representation, title work, things of that nature.
Well, that's a pretty important set of services to provide in Miami.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Where we do have mold and hurricanes, and where we do have a lot of construction and real estate type litigation and issues. Yeah. So I love that you wanted to create something that would be a match for what the consumers are looking for, because it's pretty difficult to navigate without professional advice, those kinds of issues.
And that's what we want to be there for, is to help them.
Yeah, and definitely one of the things that drove us. We were in the insurance industry for a while before we started our own firm, and so we got to see a lot of not only how the firms on the representation of the property owners behave, but also the representation that the insurance companies got when they started fighting these insurance claims. And so it really gave us this perspective of having that both sides of the picture to be able to build upon that, the firm that we currently have.
That's great. Yeah, 7 attorneys in 5 years. So you're growing.
Yes. One of the things that we really strive for is to to maintain the level of quality in the work that we do. We saw that in our industry, attorneys, in all types of industries, just in the legal field, attorneys are a lot of the times overworked. They're handling a lot of cases that is sometimes not humanly possible even.
Yeah.
And
I remember
yeah.
dating a guy, and I like, he's an attorney. He'll be done at 5 or 6, and it would be like 10 o'clock. I'm still in the office. I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea.
Yes.
But there are some pretty long hours, very demanding in that field.
Yes, very much so. But one of the reasons that we have the attorneys that we have is also we have a lower caseload per attorney, so that we can really provide the services that the community needs. Because, when an attorney alone is working 300 files, 400 files, these are all clients, these are all different issues. We don't believe that is efficient, that is providing a good service at the end of the day.
It almost sounds like you guys were destined to be in this business. Would you agree?
I think so. I think that our lives took us through paths that, thinking back, I go, it's pretty amazing that we found each other as a couple and as business partners. And just one off decision would have taken us different routes. Stephen came from Maryland and came to St. Thomas. What are the odds of that? And so it's pretty amazing, thinking back.
It almost sounds like destined to be together and destined to have this particular firm.
I think so.
I definitely agree with that.
So what do you think is most challenging about the business that you're in?
About the business that we're in, or about our legal industry in particular?
Well, I think it's two different prongs of a question, right? So answer either or both.
Okay. So I think the easier one for me is to answer the biggest challenge in having a business. So having the business that we do. And that challenge is being more than an attorney. I think for me personally, I rarely saw myself as a business owner, and I almost avoided it during a point in my life. And so having the vision and the knowledge and the willingness and the courage to become more than an attorney, I think is the biggest challenge I'm facing currently.
Do you want to add to that, Stephen?
Yeah, and I think that I'm going to take it a little step further in terms of the actual industry, and where I think that we're struggling the most in the industry is people don't trust lawyers in our community. We see things on TV that may lead us to believe one thing, but then, the legal industry is actually very different. But, our law is based on a document that was written in 1776 or 1781. This is a document that has been amended, of course, in terms of the United States Constitution. But people are always afraid to talk to lawyers. For one reason or another, most of it's because of money. They think that I'm talking to a lawyer, I'm not going to have it. It's too expensive to talk to a lawyer, when really you need to. And we're very set in our ways. You have, big firms that were built from the 1800s that are still standing. Yep. That are doing it the same way they've been doing it since the 1800s, yet we all know 10 years, 20 years ago, things were totally different than they are today.
And 10 years to 20 years ahead will be even more different than it is right now.
Exactly. And we're, we want to be on the cutting edge of this and innovating and improving it. And we believe that that way of doing it is to be able to translate what is legal to our clients in a very understanding way, as opposed to just writing memos to them and expecting our clients to understand it. We want to be there to educate them.
But you know, it is great what you're saying, because you know, as a business coach, when I'm talking with a client and they're faced with a particular challenge, I always want to bring in the advisors early on, because you can make a significant mistake by not having the proper advice for your business. So, you know, saving $1 over here may be costing you a fortune over there. And that, you know, and that's something that we need to transform as it relates to business ownership.
Absolutely. I mean, I can give you many examples just in
Sure.
the insurance claims process where you say one wrong thing and then they deny your claim for that reason.
Yeah.
When you really didn't mean that.
So do you think when somebody has a claim that they should reach out to you right away, to your firm right away?
Absolutely.
As soon as something happens?
Correct. The first call should be to your lawyer to find out what you're supposed to do, what your legal rights and obligations are, either under your insurance policy, maybe homeowners associations, under Florida law, things of that nature. So yes, your first call should always be to your attorney to ask them what should you be doing.
Yeah. Or not doing.
Or not doing.
Right.
And one of the things that I always like to tell our clients is the insurance side, and in real estate, the buyer or the seller, your other side, will always be represented. In real estate,
I
sometimes
never thought
you
of that,
have
but you're right. They will always be represented.
always an insurance company will not show up to your house without some type of representation. Either an adjuster will be representing them or an attorney will be representing them. A lot of insurance companies have attorneys on staff to ask questions about what they should be doing, what they should not be doing. So if you're going at them and you think, I got this, because it's me and I know it, and I've gone through other claims or whatever it may be, think of what they have on their side, what kind of support they have on their side. And now think, do I have the same support? And if the answer is no, get some.
Get some, right?
Get some support.
Right. So
Yeah.
what do you think the biggest obstacle that you've faced in your business was, and how did you overcome it?
So I think honestly the biggest obstacle was when we first started our business. We thought that the key was this was just to be getting more cases and to grow and to grow and to grow. Get more cases and fill the pipeline and keep working on it. And we thought that the most important thing was the next customer and not the current customer. And we've really shifted that because we grew too quickly almost. And we weren't giving the sort of service that we wanted from the beginning. So that was our biggest obstacle, was to clear our mind and keep focused in that it's the current customer that we should be focusing on. And
Kind of
not
returning to your original vision.
Correct. Correct. And we had to correct our minds, our focus, because we kind of got lost for a couple seconds there. But we've returned to our vision, and we added more staff, and we made sure that the clients are getting and still are getting every ounce of communication and attention that they deserve.
Do you want to add anything, Gisel?
That was definitely an obstacle. I think that almost every business, I think, has. I see that as something that is a constant reminder, almost, where you don't get lost in the shuffle, you don't get lost in the day-to-day. You maintain that focus on your vision, on your clients, on your mission for the company. I think that was definitely one. I think a big one, at least for me, that I think we hit an obstacle, and I think we overcame it, was to know when to ask for help.
That's a great one.
We yes. Beginning of 2018, we had a hurricane in 2017 in Miami, and we had not had one since 2005. So it had been 12 years. And all of a sudden, the industry got shook. And we got shook along with it. And we reached out to ActionCOACH and you and Doug. And I think Steven's words were, we need help. Because we knew how to be lawyers.
Right.
And we knew how to represent, and we knew how to fight and get results for our clients. But the business side, was hurting. And so I think that's definitely, I think, one that we were able to overcome. And even though it's a work in progress and we're always working on our business and how to be better, I think that first step really stops a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I think it takes a lot to ask for help.
I think it does too, and particularly in highly educated people such as yourselves, because where I see attorneys or physicians, they're smart people, so they think they ought to be able to figure it out with no training. So I acknowledge the two of you for being able to say, hang on a second, we can use some help here so that we can run our business better.
I just want to say thank you for calling me a highly educated person.
Well, yes, clearly you are. If you were going to start your business over, what's the one thing you would do differently?
I'll go.
Sorry.
Okay, go. I'll give it to you after.
Thank you. Holding the mic.
Oh, sorry. I would ask for help sooner. I think, knowing what I know now, I would, that would be my one thing. I would have focused on the business side of our law firm sooner.
Mm-hmm. Stephen?
I would have tried to acquire the team that we have currently, rather than the teams that we've had previously.
Okay.
They've all were very nice people and everything like that, but I love our team. They're great. They're passionate about what they do. They're coming to work with a happy face on every day and really excited to get the work done and are amazing. So I wish that we would have had them sooner rather than only having them now.
Yeah, and recruitment is actually a huge part of what makes the company successful. And the learning of that and how to actually create the job descriptions and the key performance indicators and the profiling that.
Absolutely. Good. So I love our team.
Yeah.
We're nothing but for our team.
Yeah, and they're for you. It's pretty clear whenever we go into your office. Yep. Okay. All right, being an entrepreneur takes a lot of juggling, and you're the parent of young children. So how do you stay focused?
Oh no, that question.
It's really difficult. I know on both of us, it's very difficult to stay focused. They talk about work-life balance, and it is very difficult to actually find work-life balance. And still sleep and still have time for anything else that you want to do. But I think it's because we love what we do. We're passionate about what we do. Mm-hmm. So it's not work to us. They say if you love what you do, you never actually work a day in your life. And I truly believe that that's what's going on with Gisel and I. Mm-hmm. We truly both love what we do, so we're never actually working. So I don't mind reading my kids a story and then lying in bed with them and working on something because I'm enjoying it, or researching something. So instead of researching nothings on the internet and looking on Facebook, I'd rather research the law because it's interesting.
I know he does.
It's interesting to me, and I love what we do. So I think the passion is the biggest way.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. But I think that in addition to that, what keeps us focused and what helps us keep focus is the team that we have around us. Not only in the office, which we have an amazing team. At home, we have an amazing team. They say to have Steven saying, it takes a village.
Yes.
We have a village, and we are very, very fortunate to have that village. And so it helps us stay focused. You know, when we have a 5 and a 2-year-old, and, you know, they get sick.
Yep.
And so we have a great support team where it allows us to keep working, keep, you know, the service that we have and the firm that we have, but also be able to take care of our children and know that our children are being taken care of by either one of the people of the village or by one of us. And so that is invaluable.
What's your favorite thing about having your business in Miami?
Go for it. Sure.
For me, it's the weather. I remember when I was 22 years old in college, walking across the University of Maryland campus, freezing my butt off and thinking to myself, why am I doing this when I have a scholarship waiting for me to go to law school? You know, move to Miami and go to Miami and go to law school there. And I've never looked back. It's been fantastic for the weather. But beyond that, you know, because of the weather, you have beautiful houses that love to be bought and love to be sold. Mm-hmm. And all those transactions need representation. So, I mean, it's really been great for our business to have these amazing homes that are bought and sold all the time. And then, unfortunately, because we have hurricanes, it's awful what you see. But, you know, we're really able to help. Mm-hmm. And it's so great for us and such a sense of fulfillment for us that we're able to help them. That makes it so much more worth it to work in Miami.
So?
Definitely, I think those are big ones. And I've been to Maryland, and it's a gorgeous place. Very, very cold. So the weather and everything Steven said is on point. One of the things that I really love about Miami is the diversity. Mm-hmm. I lived in, I'm Cuban from origin, but I lived in Chile for 8 years, and I've lived in El Salvador, mm-hmm. and I went to school in South Carolina. So I've been around, and Miami is truly, everybody's here. And you know, don't know who you're gonna meet, what kind of background they're gonna have. We go to our clients' houses all the time to see the damages, to get to meet them. And you really don't know, you know, what their story is going to be, what their background is going to be. You know, I've met people that have been in jail in Cuba from, you know, political reasons, and people that have been in the Holocaust. Like, it's just a sea of history. Mm-hmm. And that is really amazing. Yeah. That, you know, I think only a few places on earth give you that ability.
Yeah, somebody was telling me the other day, you know, that concept of a melting pot. She said, but Miami's not really a melting pot. Miami is more like a mosaic, a very rich and colorful, diverse mosaic. And it's like, that's a good way of describing it, because it's a warm, welcoming place, and it's very diverse. And that creates some of the flavor and the richness of being here. Yeah.
I like that analogy, because I think the melting pot is...
They become one.
They become one, right? Yeah. And they all like intermix. And I think that it's more like I'm gonna say, we all form part of the picture, but we maintain our uniqueness. Mm-hmm. I think that's what I love most about it. Yeah.
All right, one last question. What's a piece of advice that you would offer to an entrepreneur who's getting started?
Sure.
I'd love to go.
Well, I think about it.
I'd love to go first.
Okay.
Dare to be different. We do things differently in our firm, especially when it comes to insurance claims. And we've been told by not just, you know, our clients, but we've been told by our opposing counsels. We've been told by insurance companies that we do it differently. Mm-hmm. We go to our clients' houses. We really care. We talk to them. We innovate. We do a lot of things differently. And I think that being different has separated us from a lot of other law firms in South Florida, and really all over the country even, because we're daring to be different. And don't be afraid. Take the risk to be different, and you would see how greatly it pays off.
So,
It's really good advice.
yeah, it is.
I would say someone that is starting, don't be afraid to ask for help. I think you're 100% right when you said, educated people and people that know their industry, know their niche, are the least likely to ask for help. And I think when you start a business, you think, I'm a great architect, so I can have a business of architecture. And they're two different monsters. They really are. So get help, and don't be afraid to ask for help early on to handle the monster that you may not be as familiar with as the one that you are.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us here on this episode of Made in Miami.
Thank you.
You're both terrific.
Thank you
and
so much,
you.
Jody. Thank you.
Love you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.